I'm good, thank you. Interesting, something? Yeah, I'll give you one.
Good morning. You know, your headlights have only the driver's side.
I do.
I didn't know my red truck, the passenger side was out, and I got told, unfortunately, there was one in the console. This bit was gonna get cold again,
Mhm.
and here comes the snow. I knew it was gonna get cold again, and here comes the snow. We need it. Oh, we do. They're begging for it down the valley. There's hardly anything on Douglas. Rangeley is bone dry. What the hell was it? There right. Yeah. That's right. It was the excursion in this morning, but I forgot. So I took a chance and I fired right out.
You invite the public works guy to come?
I did. Mike said he was gonna come over. I don't know about Lori and. You know, I left it up to him.
Yeah.
Left it up to Mike, so. I had a. Full reel of underground wire. Good morning.
Always good stuff.
Yeah.
Did you stay the night up here? I did, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a morning person. That was really good.
Join the crowd.
You didn't get one?
Do you have another copy of the?
Oh, you want them all? What about the swearing in?
Do we do that
Statement.
for Dusty, or is Dusty coming today or next
I
week?
don't believe Dusty coming. No.
Oh,
Well, I don't know that you need sworn in personally.
I
I think just, yeah.
And it doesn't have to happen. For administrator too, or yeah, for administrator. Okay.
Do you want me to print multiple copies or just one? Or?
Yeah, probably for.
I don't need one. I got one on my tab.
It's on my hand, but
So just one copy then?
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for now, use the yes one. And then an exclamation, Okay.
capital T, capital O, capital C, capital P, UBLIC, color. And then another explanation.
Did you get a copy of the resolution that we're approving? Do
Oh,
you,
for the hire.
yeah, do you have a copy of the resolution that we're approving?
Is it in there?
I don't know.
I think it should be at the back of that. I don't remember.
I don't know it, Carla, thank you.
So yeah, it is resolution 2025-003. It is in the packet. It was the last
Okay.
pages 14 and 15.
Okay.
But I will print a copy for the mayor and sign it today.
Is the is the guest Wi-Fi the same speed as what the rest of the building has? Or is it?
I believe so.
Okay. It is.
And Angie, if you want to email it to me when you find something, I can send it out. Okay. And trustee Evans will not be here. Little being sense. I mean, sorry. Trustee Vance will not be here today, excuse me. She has provided this letter and asked that the mayor read this into the record this morning. Whatever, I mean, we call them the order.
Well, I guess it's time, small group, but we're here, we have a forum. So let's call the order and I do this, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And roll call.
Trustee Evans here, trustee Winklevoss. Trustee Brian here, and us
Here.
and then again, trustee Zens asked to have a letter read to explain her absence.
Do we have Wilson on
I'm gonna text him and get him online, so.
the? Okay. There, I am writing to formally resign my position as trustee as town of Collbran effective immediately. This decision has not been easy. And I want to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunities I've had to grow professionally during my time here. I've enjoyed working with a talented team from April of 2022 to April of 2024. And I've learned a great deal from both the projects, colleagues I've had the pleasure to work with. Since the new board was seated in April of 2024, the environment has changed from one of cooperative, collaborative among board members and town staff to one of hostility and unwillingness of new members to work together for the greater good of the town. I appreciate your understanding. I hope that new board members can be added that will work towards the success of the town as a whole and not personal agendas. Thank you again for the opportunity to be part of the town of Collbran trustees. Sincerely, Lorraine Zentz. I had the opportunity of talking to Lorraine a little bit at the Job Corps, just simply because I had a question for her. None of this this letter was brought up, but I personally apologize to her if there was anything that I had said or done to offend her. I appreciate the fact that she's extended her education and is still serving the public at Job Corps. So I just wanted to tell her that after I had, she answered the question for me. So anyway, she's a good person and she had no problem. She said she wasn't offended, but I'd just been forthright and told her what was on my mind. So that it was at ease to me. It's not my intention to, I guess, offend. Sometimes we speak our minds and it's taken personally. And we need to be heard, not just as a board, but as a public, as a town. So I just thought that I would add that, unfortunately. But I wish Lorraine the best for her future and happiness and education, whatever she chooses to endeavor or take on. Any changes or deletions not on the agenda? Okay. And I guess I'd like to make another comment is there's nobody that wants to take 3 minutes. I'd just like to take a minute. Go the board and maybe we can print some for the public. At one of the meetings, if you recall, if you so choose, or management so choose. Because there's been a lot of hearsay or whatever about easements and whatnot, the county website. I went down to the county, this is what they give to the public, so that the public can look up at any time what the easements are. So being as transparent as they can. Probably only right that we should all, I guess, be on the same page. This is the Lawrence subdivision, and this is Gandy Park, and it clearly shows, you know, a 14-foot easement. There's easements all across for water, gas, and all of that. All we saw at the meeting was the description here. So, but this makes it kind of. I was thinking the board in the future and as the public is thinking is brought forward, and I'm sure Angie is well on board above and beyond. Well, it wasn't the plat. All it was the recording and the description of the plat. It doesn't, it didn't actual plat. This is here. This is where the tower is, and the tank.
Where's Mark's property? Is it in the?
Well, Mark back here with the new CNC or CNN. We call it a CO, deputy central office, but same thing. Basically just a small building and does the same thing for the heavier equipment that runs everything. So that's in this corner. And then his fiber runs down here with the power has theirs, and he pays them to be on their poles. State statute, so, and you can look it up. And it plays with to the internet since the mid-80s. So that's something I think we need to keep in mind for the future of the town and with this project.
Is that something you can follow up with Angie on?
Yeah, I can follow up, and you can, I'm sure, look it up. My only other concern is when I come down, we only have 4.87 download and 1.4 up in the building as far as our internet goes. Most of us, or most people, don't even, you know, test their results or whatever, whereas like at my house, and there's no, I'm getting 71 by 14 with a 23 millisecond ping, so everything is pretty much instant, just as at Bill's on the fiber. But anyway, I know that's not on the agenda. That was just some personal comments that I wanted to make. So I guess my 3 minutes are up. So number 6, item number 6, introduction. I apologize, Angie. Introduction of Angie Sprague, Town of Collbran intern, town administrator. And we've all met her, we've all interviewed her, but good morning.
Thanks for having me. Get some more one time here.
You need to speak up, please, for the recording.
There's a good one right here too.
I'm not a loud talker, I definitely have a low voice,
So
yeah,
you'll need to speak louder.
right?
Yes,
It's a pleasure to be here, thank you for having me, and I'm hoping that we can all get some one-on-one time together. Here within this first week, at least an hour and a half a year. You know, just to sit down.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And I don't know if everybody's read this contract, Gary. Yep. Okay.
I have a couple of questions regarding the scope of work. I do believe that Collbran has 3 maintenance staff in our public works office. Is that still true? Okay,
Has 3 what?
employed maintenance staff in public works. And then also, I would like to see the town marshal removed from the scope of work. We have not budgeted for a town marshal. And that is something that is going to take much longer than 3 months to put into place a new town marshal's office, and I don't think that we need to have her spending her time working on that particular project. I think that's something that needs to wait and be planned out much more effectively in the budget.
Well, and also, you know, we have a contract with the Mesa County Sheriff's Department that goes to the end of the year. The previous administration made a considered effort to provide us a, you know, some protection with the in lieu of the fact that we didn't have a town marshal, and I think it sends a wrong message in terms of that we have that on the scope, because of the fact that, one, I think that the contract we have needs to be honored, and I believe we should move forward with that very same contract of providing. I think it's been pretty clear, and obviously those things will have to be addressed in the future, but it'd be very difficult to hire somebody in this town to have the qualifications that the Mesa County Sheriff Department provides us. But I think it sends a wrong message, and I think it should be struck from the document before anything is signed.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I disagree. I think we need a new set of eyes on everything, and it's not financially responsible for the town of Collbran to supply the entire community with police coverage for $350,000 a year.
Our budget, that's what our budget was for a town marshal. And we are getting better services with the sheriff's department in the town for that amount. And that was woefully underfunded. And this board, this current board looked at that and voted to do this. I think that you should honor that decision.
Yeah, it also said that we could get out of it at any time with reasonable notice.
If there's further news.
Tell you one thing, we do that, we get out of the contract that we sign. I think everybody is under the understanding when you sign a contract, you do it with some legitimacy, and if we try to get out of this contract, I can guarantee you that the Mesa County Sheriff's Department will not look kindly upon us.
And I think that that should, if you want to, next year, plan ahead for it and appropriately budget for it, then by all means you can do that. But I think at this time, with this, in this transition, that should not be part of her, because it's going to take you much longer than 3 months to find a new town marshal.
And I want to take part in any cancellation of the contract that we have given to the Mesa County Sheriff's Department. I will not be a part of that. We honor the contract in which we signed, and they have provided the services of which we require.
Okay. As my feelings on it is, I was called last Friday partially because Carla was in the office, and Wilson called me and said that I could come down because we voted to move ahead with hiring Angie Sprague as our town administrator. this doesn't mean that we're gonna change and cancel the contract. It's just as Angie said, she wanted to meet with every one of us and have our feelings, and I guess that's part of it, the discussion right now. So it does not mean that we're gonna cancel the contract. It doesn't mean we're gonna change anything. He did say because we voted to contract Angie as an interim and Dusty as a clerk, and that we discussed Angie working with Dusty and bringing her up on the computer and everything, working together. I think we have somebody that is well aware of what needs to happen, and that's why we voted to bring her on as our administrator and give us those to advise us on that, just as we have our counsel with Wilson Scarberry. So but and he said we could cancel this meeting this morning at that time, but I told him that I wasn't comfortable without hearing from the board to go ahead and sign the contract without everybody knowing or what was going on, because we had voted to have this meeting this morning. So I have faith in Angie that she'll give us the advice that we need, whether to move forward, whether it's physically feasible or not budget wise. She can look over the contract and you know, she recommends that we stay with the Mesa County Sheriff's Department. That's where I'm gonna, I guess, put my faith. The people can speak of the town, and I guess let their will be known to us, but I personally think we just need to go ahead and bring Angie on and let her do her job, and we'll get to know the public's works people. We all have I believe high regards and faith in our public works, and that's something that we definitely need to honor and support. So
I just think that the, you know, under her objective, it needs to be accurate as to what we currently have. And I personally do not feel that she needs to be spinning her wheel working on the town market issue at this time. I think we have much bigger things that we need to deal with.
and well heard. I hear you loud and clear. I just I would put more weight in, because this is not our profession. We're here to represent the town and the townspeople. This is Andy's profession and her specialty, and this is what she does. So what she that's why I think we need her, and
It might be her advice to wait till next year to recruit.
exactly. She may say, hey,
leave a list of detailed instructions.
let's make a plan.
I don't think it hurts for anybody, a new set of eyes, to go over every single thing. And I think she's highly qualified to handle them.
As the rest of the board, you know, like you say, if it's something that the future happens in the future, change is that's one thing we can count on in life, is change. And unfortunately with this would probably be blown over if it were in Grand Junction, because it's a much bigger municipality, but it is what it is. So
Well, I think for the period of time that Angie's gonna be on board, she has an awful lot to do in, pursuing town marshals, not one of them. And I think that number three, the item number three on the scope of responsibilities, that was struck from the contract. So it clearly communicates to the, Mesa County Sheriff's Department and the people of this town that that is not what we're looking for at this point in time during her tenure. I feel strongly about this.
Okay,
I'm not against Angie working here. I agree she's very qualified. I just don't think that that is something that needs to be looked at this time.
okay,
And I feel strongly about it also.
uh. I guess, we can move to number 7, motion to authorize the mayor to sign professional services contract agreement with Angie Sprague for municipal town administrator and clerk services. So I would entertain a motion at this time.
If we want to approve the professional services agreement, but not the scope of work, I'm fine with that.
So the scope of work defines what Angie is doing for the town. So the scope of work is a critical piece of her contract. I understand there's sort of a 2-2 split on the board at the moment with regard to the town marshal position and sort of what Angie should be doing in her scope of work with regard to the town marshal position. I am not quite sure what to suggest as an alternative, since sort of tabling the issue of the town marshal until a later meeting or later in Angie's tenure with the town is sort of implicitly going towards one side, but ultimately the scope of work is a critical piece of that contract, and without that, Angie doesn't have clear guidance on sort of what her responsibilities are in her role. So I'm not quite sure what the compromise needs to be on how to handle the role of the marshal. Perhaps it's something to, authorize the scope of work as amended to say that Angie can advise on alternatives to the contract with the Mesa County Sheriff's Office and the possible, the costs of recruitment of a town marshal. You're probably also, in addition to appointing someone to the town marshal position, will also need to hire, 2 to 3 other full-time subordinate officers to work with the marshal. So that's another piece of that Angie could advise on. And maybe we just make clear that it's not the intent that she would be recruiting or recommending appointment of a marshal within her 90-day tenure, but simply advising the town on how it might go about recreating that position and recreating a police department in the future.
So would it be okay then to make a motion to go ahead with the scope and just with adding that we table the part of the marshal for future?
Or we can say, review and advise the contract, give advice.
Sure, either of those would be fine. Ultimately, it's up to you all as the board. If a majority of you will support one or either of those amendments, then that's what you can go with.
I would consent, I would add to that I would consent to, removing it entirely. Putting review and advise, it really is dependent upon this board's priorities, where my time is focused. And I do intend to do it, so, we have a strategic planning session with you all, so that we can make sure that we're all moving together in the same direction in which the majority of the board agrees upon. I would have a copy of it, but.
Make perfect sense to me, and I think that's the way we should go.
Remove it, revisit it, if need be.
You bet. And I think that would go right along with what Tilda and Gary's asking for,
Yes.
that we remove it and. So,
I move approval to authorize the mayor to sign a professional services agreement with Angie Sprang for municipal town administrator and clerk services as amended by adding that we have 3 maintenance staff and removing the town marshal from the recruitment strategies.
I second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Vote please.
Trustee Evans,
Yes,
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes,
trustee Price,
Yes,
and Mayor Wilcox.
Yes. Thank you, Wilson, and thank you, Andy. So. Number 8 is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign employment agreement with Dusty Corella as interim clerk and treasurer. So I can assign that, or if I sign the agreement with her, and then she will come in. I believe it was talked next Tuesday. Is that correct?
That was my understanding.
Okay, I mean, that when I talked to you, Wilson, and I thought that I'd talked to you a little bit on Friday, but I've slept since then.
That was the discussion. I don't know if anybody actually confirmed that she's available, but obviously that can be done this week then.
Okay, whenever Dusty can come and you can work with her, the sooner the better. You're in charge, so to speak. Okay. Resolution number 9.
The motion.
Oh, sorry.
Second.
I need a motion in a second. So I would make a motion that we authorize myself to sign employment agreement with Dusty Corella as interim town clerk and treasurer.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I'm still not in favor of this, but I know I'm gonna lose on it. I think that we should have somebody who's more qualified than her, but it's what it is.
Any thoughts, Gary?
no, I'm all in favor of hiring Dusty and bringing her on board.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion. May we have a vote, please?
Trustee Price,
Yes,
trustee Winkleblack,
Yes,
trustee Evans,
Yes,
and Mayor Wilcox.
Yes. And number 10 is the adjournment. I don't,
a resolution.
or resolution, I'm sorry, I checked it off here. Get ahead of myself, I guess. Resolution 2025-003, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the town of Collbran, Colorado, approving a professional services agreement for the town administrator services and an employment agreement for the interim town clerk and treasurer. So,
I motion we approve the 2025-003, a resolution for the Board of Trustees of the town of Collbran, Colorado, approving a professional service agreement for the town administrator services and an employment agreement for the interim town clerk treasurer.
a second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we have a vote.
Trustee Winkleblack,
Yes,
trustee Evans,
yes.
trustee Price,
Yes,
And Mayor Wilcox,
Yes.
Do you want to swear in before adjournment?
probably swear Angie in there. I don't know if actually you're just gonna read it, but maybe.
Just read it if you want, that's fine. I, Angie Sprang, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, the laws of the State of Colorado, municipal code of the town of Collbran, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of the office of interim town administrator of the town of Collbran, on which I'm about to enter to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Welcome to the chaos.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is adjournment.
I moved we adjourn.
I second.
Any further discussion? None. Roll call. Aye.
Mayor Wilcox,
Aye.
trustee Craig. Yep. Trustee Winkleblack
Yep.
and trustee Evans.
Yes.
Kendall, can I see Lorraine's letter, please?
Oh,
Yeah. Lorraine.
So Wilson, thank you. I'm gonna let you go. He's not calling. He's gone.